My name's Harriet Cannon. I'm a Disability Coordinator within the Disability Services team. I support a number of faculties, Faculty of Engineering, Biological Sciences and Maths and Physical Sciences, and I specialise in supporting students on the autism spectrum. I think if I was advising colleagues in creating inclusive teaching environments, I'd really be looking at anticipating the needs of diverse groups of students. So assuming before the fact that you are going to have different types of students in your classes, in your lectures, and to think about their needs in advance without thinking about individuals specifically. And I think really the key advantage in doing that is if you're creating reasonable adjustments for individual students, you might be having to do that again and again and again, either within the same year or year on year. You're going to get similar types of students coming through every year. For example, you're going to have a cohort of students who have dyslexia, and you're going to have to make similar adjustments. If you make them once at the beginning in the design of your course, you only do it once, and you don't have to keep repeating it throughout the time that you're teaching that course. And it's also of a benefit to all those students who aren't diagnosed or who haven't disclosed, and also students in other groups. So, for example, international students will benefit from it as well. My advice to colleagues in creating more inclusive teaching environments would be to think beyond the physical environment. I think it's quite easy when you're working with disabled students to get caught up in thinking about ramps and lifts and those sorts of built environment issues. Actually, what's possibly more helpful to a greater number of students is to think about everything outside of that. So you might be looking at course materials, reading lists, lecture presentations, all of those different things that you do, and also about communication in particular. So we think about communication in terms of talking to people or writing emails, but there's much more beyond that. And it is really worth thinking about some of those different things before you start planning a course so that you can build it in from the beginning. So the impact on students when you're creating inclusive environments really can't be underestimated. It gives you much greater reach to far many more students. They don't need to seek out support. They don't need to identify themselves. You will be benefiting them, sometimes without them even realising that you're benefiting them, and that's really when it's working best of all. You are able to reach so many more students across all kinds of broad categories, which you can't necessarily do when you're just thinking about individual reasonable adjustments for individual students.